Longford.
How
far out of Euroa are we?
18k.
18k, and it's about 12 o'clock, and this is the first time I've seen Jess since she left State Library.
I know.
We've done so much.
It was ages ago. It's a week though. It's a week today.
Take a weight off.
Thanks. So how many did you get? How many pages?
12
in Euroa?
pages in Euroa.
12 pages in Euroa.
It was
Go
amazing.
Euroa!
More
Yes,
people signed than didn't. There would be like one or two that just didn't want to.
Yeah.
We found that the thing I was
alright.
saying, the thing that worked the best was just to say, look, we want to ask our government to process these people out of detention quicker and more humanely, and we want children out of closed detention centres. And we go, oh, I agree with that.
Yeah. Listen, to local refugee support group member Carol Crow said that locals will be collecting signatures on the petition in Euroa on Saturday, so keep your eyes open for that. Well, they certainly did. How many pages again?
12 pages.
12 times 20, so 10 times 20 is 200, 240 signatures. So I woke up this morning with the stiffest legs ever because of the extra 10k yesterday, and because it was extra, I wasn't anticipating that, and by the time my cousin picked me up off the side of the road, I think I was staggering towards the sign of Loxley. So so I didn't even bother stretching, which was the big no-no. And now they're getting better though. After walking today, they're all right. They're okay. So I think they're going to be okay for the day. I just did a massive stretch just before, so they should be all right. But yep, feeling good.
It's probably better if you put your feet in the dry ice rather than putting water in it. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to soften them too much. Where are your blisters?
Bury 'em.
I can't do it.
Get a
It
bit
tickles.
cozy. You won't be doing it for long.
Oh, that's
Put 'em in.
painful. Yeah, you say that when you're sitting out.
You gotta do it. It's good for 'em. Get 'em back in there.
Show me the people that they keep behind walls. Show me their faces and let me hear their calls. And I'll show you a young man with so many reasons why. They're bought for fortune, go you or I. And show me their anger, show me their pain, show me the razor blades that mutilate and maim. And I'll show you a young man with so many reasons why. They're bought for fortune, they're bought for fortune, they're bought for fortune, go you or I, you or I. I want to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Tamarong people, who for many, many years would meet here along the creeks, along the banks of the creek, and sing songs and share stories just like we're going to be doing. I just want to take a moment for that to sink into our bones. I want to welcome Colleen, our Mayor of Strathbogie Shire, Jessica, who we've all come to listen to, Peter, who's her project manager, Peter, who's filming. There's more on the team. There's Jessica's sister and niece, come all the way from South Gippsland. There's some guys, Murray, Robbie. Welcome everybody. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get any guests from Shepparton, any refugees or asylum seekers. Susie and Tessa worked really hard to try and make that happen. I just want to hand over to Tess just to explain, like, I'm still grappling with how difficult it is to not just organise people to come to these events but transport them as well. So I was going to ask Tess if you would like to just say a few words about that.
So I have the pleasure of working with a large group of refugees and asylum seekers who have settled in the Golden Valley area. We have the second largest population of refugees and recently arrived asylum seekers outside of metropolitan Melbourne. So there are a lot of clients, predominantly Afghani, but we also have people from Iraq, Iran, Malaysia, and parts of Africa. The reason why people may not be here today, it's not from their lack of thanks to the people like yourselves for welcoming them to Australia, but they have nothing actually to celebrate. Asylum seekers are in limbo. They have no idea whether the Australian government will decide to allow them to stay here in Australia, or whether in years to come they will be deported back to where they've come from. And in the reality, that means between now and when that big decision is made, they are without their family. Most of the people that I work with are what we call single men, but they're not single men. In fact, almost all of them are married men who have left their families in Afghanistan or Iraq and Iran to come to Australia for a better life, with the idea that they would then sponsor their families to come and join them. And that's what happened in years gone past. But that's not what happens now, and it may never ever happen again. So not only are they not allowed to sponsor their families, but they're not allowed to work. So they are given, through the government, 89% of the lowest Centrelink payment to live on. And as they're the breadwinners in the culture that they come from, means that the women do not work outside the home. The majority of that money goes home. So they live in fairly impoverished circumstances here in Australia, so that most of the money can be sent back to their families and to their children. A lot of the people that we work with are people who are from the country rather than the city, so they may also be uneducated and illiterate both in their language and obviously ours. So to say come for a celebration is a bit confronting when we don't actually know how long we're staying, whether we're going to have a future, and whether we'll ever see our families again. Having said that, they are the most grateful, generous, and very, very kind people you could ever meet in your life. One of the hardest things was a couple of years ago they had to sign a code of conduct, which meant they would not approach the opposite sex, they would not spit, they would not swear. And if any of you have ever walked through the Maud Street Mall, that happens on a regular basis. They have also been told that if they don't attend medical appointments or any other appointment with the Department of Immigration, they will be instantly deported. So there's this fear hanging over their head all of the time. We have many activities at Primary Care Connect, which is where I work, and a lot of it is around nurturing soul and nurturing body. And in fact, one of our most recent employees is sitting in the room. Karen is our yoga master, and she's doing amazing things with our clients, one-on-one, about relaxation and just getting home, I suppose is the best way to put it. So these are beautiful people who are very grateful for everything they get, but please don't see that the lack of their attendance today is anything other than A, being very shy, and B, really not knowing why would they be celebrating. So thank you all for attending on their behalf, and just thank you so much for what you're doing. It's just beautiful.
My name's Carol, and along with quite a few other people, specifically Susie and Mary, and a bunch of people around town, we decided to jump on board what Jess is doing and grab this opportunity, particularly as it's Australia Day weekend, which is really good timing for us, I think. We've done that on behalf of a new group that's formed locally. We've only had one meeting so far. That was in Euroa before Christmas. Some of you attended that meeting. And that is to look at ways that we can explore how we'll support refugees and asylum seekers in this region. What I think so striking about you, Jessica, is it's not just that you care so deeply about this because I think everyone here does, but what strikes me is that you dreamed really big and you put that into action. And I just think that's a remarkable thing. And the energy and what you generate, the awareness that you generate along the route, I don't think you can measure it. I think it's immeasurable. So thank you.
Thank you all so much. All of you here, there's such a warmth coming from this room. And it's not just the weather. It's wonderful. And thank you to the singers and Carol and everyone. I'm blown away by how Euroa and surrounding areas have just spurred me on, for starters, but also have just been so proactive in standing up for this and doing what your heart tells you. I read a little slogan not that long ago: when compassion meets action, that's when change occurs. And I think that's what's happened in Euroa. So well done to all of you, you're wonderful people. My head is absolutely swimming, and I think I started to write something about this about a week ago and then tried again and again. So I'm going to wing it. Sorry, but anyway. But I'm going to tell you a little bit quickly about how I came up with this idea and the process as well, which I think is important. I have a very social justice-minded family, and that's probably because of my older sister Michelle over there, who used to watch the news and cry when we were little kids, and we used to tease her. The house burnt down and Michelle was crying watching the news and we used to tease her. Now she's the biggest inspiration to me. She's crying now.
And Jess is laughing.
I remember a lot of the time, I'd been in bed, in my really cosy bed, ready to complain about the fact that I had to set my alarm and in 6 hours I had to get up and go to work. And I just kept on thinking, how can I complain when there are people who don't even have that choice, whether they can go to work or not? There's probably someone like me, my age even, maybe she's got a child, maybe, who knows, maybe she's just in limbo. And if that was me in a foreign country where I didn't really know the language, and I'd probably be petrified, and what I'd just gone through would have been hell, I don't know if I could cope with that. So that's what I did. I thought I just want to go up to Canberra and tell them that we are good people. We want to help, and you've put us in a really hard spot because it's very hard to help at the moment, especially when not only have you taken away these people's freedoms, but you've taken away our basic human instinct to help and to care for someone. So I thought, yeah, I can actually go up to Parliament and say these things because luckily we're in a democracy. And I thought, I'm going to walk there. It can't be that far. I'm going to walk there and tell them, then they have to listen to me. And then I looked up some things. I thought petition was a weird word. I thought, another petition, But no, I researched it and I found some things out about petitions, and you can ask me after this. It'll take me a long time to tell you all, but they do make a difference, and they are a way to get our voices heard, and we can make requests and they have to respond. And I thought if I put enough pressure on the government and tell a story along with the petition, it might have an impact. I never imagined just how amazing the response would be, and it's been amazing, and Euroa is a brilliant example. And everyone across all up the highway, people are really jumping on board this, and we are proving that we are good people, that we're using our talents, and you know, we've been provided this fantastic opportunity to use what we've got. So have a think, use your voices. It's just amazing what we can do here in Australia when we have the opportunity. So that's what I want from our government, to give us the opportunity to be human and help these wonderful people who are just like us. Yeah. I'm going to hand you over to Peter, my project manager, who has come along an amazing journey with me.
I'm pretty sure that you can probably hear me without the mic. Yeah? And the reason why you can is because I'm from a theatre background, as so is Jess, and that's how we met. And Jess and I have both directed Romeo and Juliet and a lot of other sort of shows. And Jess contacted me in November, and she said, Peter, you seem to be really into, you know, posting stuff about refugees. You seem to be really caring. Can you just come and sit down with me and hear what I'm doing and try and put some sense to it and try and put some order to it? So I did. I sat down with Jess and I said, right, Jess, you're doing this, you're doing this, have you done this, have you done this, have you done this? Just like, no, well, yes, I've been thinking. I know. I said, right, I'm going to do it. First of all, what we're going to do is we're going to get a barbecue together, we'll get all the volunteers together. I'll be your volunteer coordinator, that's what I'll do. So I did that, and then I said, you know what, we'll do the media. I'll help you out with the media. We've always done media together for theatre, we'll do that. And then as the project's gone, I said, oh, I need a title. I can't just keep saying I'm your mate helping out. So they've called me a project manager. And Carol was the first person that contacted us with this beautiful idea of having this afternoon tea, of setting up a booth. We'd talked about setting up booths in the towns and signing petitions and who was going to do them. And Carol sort of said, yes, that's great, we can do that. We've got people who can help collect signatures. The next day, I want to do something that welcomes Jess to our community, an afternoon tea, we can talk in a forum. I said, that's fantastic. So Carol put in my head a template of how we would do it all the way up to Canberra. And since then, I've spoken to people from Benalla, from Wangaratta, from Glenrowan. They've spoken to other refugee advocacy groups who have gone back to me and who have said, we want to do it like Euroa does. We want to do it like Euroa.
Hashtag.
So that's what the chapter of this documentary is going to be called, Doing It Like Euroa. And yesterday, you guys really did do it like Euroa. For a small town to collect 260 signatures, for nearly every single person that we spoke to on the street to say, yes, I want to help. I was just over at the Seven Creeks. They've got an extra creek. Talking 7 creeks. And I said to Annie, she was very friendly, and I sort of said, look, Annie, this is what I'm here for. She said, absolutely, come over, bring me over some petitions. Bring them over, I'll get them to sign. I said, I'll put Carol in charge of collecting those petition sheets. So, in addition to asking Euroa to do it more like Euroa, I want you to continue to collect the petitions. We have until the February 10th, that's when all the petitions have to be back. Along the way, we've gotten mayors. I was contacted by the Mayor of Shepparton on Saturday, who said, it's just such a shame she's not coming through Shepparton. I said, Jess wants to make a special trip out there because she's always known how important Shepparton is to this cause. So he said, I'll do what I can to organise, get as many people together that can speak to Jess and tell her what we're doing out there. And that's been the response that we've gotten all up and down Victoria, New South Wales, regional New South Wales and regional Victoria. It's been overwhelming. It's been such a better reaction. I mean, I'm not saying that Melbourne doesn't care. You know, I just sometimes think that Melbourne may be overplayed. But the minute we contacted Regional Victoria and Regional New South Wales, you guys opened your arms to us and said, yeah, bring it on. We want more. We want to do it. What else can we do? Jess has sought accommodation in every town that she's gone through. We've had to start turning people down. Strangers who have opened their homes. And this is one of the things that Jess said. That while I'm walking on this walk and my feet are sore and I'm miserable and it's so hot, I know, I'm saying on the part of Jess, that there is a warm meal and a warm greeting for me when I finish this day, which is more than a lot of people who are locked in detention centres will have. And that's what we want our government to know, that we care and we want quicker processing of these people and more humanitarian response and more compassion.
So the total is about 750 kilometres, and I'm up to Euroa. I've walked to the park. Is that just there?
Yeah, just there,
Yeah, I've walked to the park. Tomorrow I get to Violet Town, and then I go up to Tumut, and then across the mountains into Canberra. Yeah, the mountain range. It's 35 days, and then when I get to Canberra, I'm meeting up with Russell Broadbent, Member of Parliament for Macmillan. He's going to present the petition to the House of Reps. I chose him because he's been a strong advocate for refugees. He crossed the floor about the issue where we used to charge people for being in detention. He's been a lovely person to work with. He's also a Liberal, which I thought would have a bigger impact in Parliament. And he's very logical. I'm very hard. He's very logical, so I think that dynamic is good too. That's on the 23rd of February at 4 p.m. I need to be in Canberra.
When I saw Shirley had put something on to our community email about collecting bikes for some refugees in Shepparton, I just jumped on board instantly because it was something practical that we could do. And I think Shirley might like to speak about that one, so I won't go in too much depth with that. But had the pleasure of meeting some of the very courageous young men and older men and families, and we had a day out in Euroa. And through that, I've developed a friendship with a family in Shepparton, which has been incredibly valuable for me. Just starts off with like making the connection, kind of not knowing where that connection's going to go, and being amazed at how much strength that family has given me just in their experience. Being separated from children and other family, obviously, not having work rights for 8 years, and living in limbo. So I think what I would highly recommend or share with you as what I've taken from this experience is just friendship, and also just the amazing value in learning, spending real time with someone from another culture and acknowledging what they have to share with us, you know, as incredibly strong people who've been through so much, but also just celebrating their culture within our own community, you know, like it's a gift that they're with us. So we've had dinners, so the family I speak of are amazing cooks, so I've got this, I share this dream with a few people in the community that one day we hope they'll open a restaurant and we can go and enjoy their friendship and their food, and so we've had a couple of dinners up in Strathbogie which have been wonderful, where they're able to share their talent for cooking, and it's also, I think, about having something to look forward to and to be busy and to feel productive again, because that's what people want. They want to feel productive. They want to contribute. Like so many refugees volunteer in the community. They feed our homeless in the community. And because they want to help. So we should help them. So, I don't know. Sorry for my passion.
I'm Bernadine Kelly, related to Ned, if you like to say that. Last year we did Harmony Day, which is on the 21st of March, And so this year the market is on the 20th of March, so we might do it then. And so we collected people together who wanted to share, and people who brought things from other cultures. So one couple dressed up in costume. People brought all sorts of things, and then they brought food from another culture, and we had chai tea. So we enjoyed that in here. So hopefully this year we would like people to come on board and help us plan and help us organise, and we could have it outside or inside on Market Day in March. So that's one thing we're doing. And Jenna and I just got together, well, we talked a week ago, and decided that it'd be great to do some songs from the Flower Power days. So that's how we started that. And we sang down the street when they were getting signatures yesterday. So we'd love people to join a group. You don't have to say you can sing, you just open your mouth and it comes out, especially when you've got passion. So I'd like to start a group of people who can learn a few songs that we can sing at any occasion that is needed, or meet down the street for coffee, sit outside Euroa Cafe and sing our hearts out and embarrass people as they walk past. So I've got two pieces of paper here. One's for Harmony Day and the other is for peace gatherings or whatever gatherings we want to sing. So if I pass it around, you can add your name, email and or phone, whatever you like, and we'll be in touch with you too. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Can I just add to that one of the aims of our group is to set up some working groups, if you like, or focus groups, one of which would be for Harmony Day, another one now is singing. And I was going to do it later, but I'll do it now. It seems Jessica's kicked us into action because there were so many people came on board with this. It truly was amazing. And I guess because I'd helped organise the first meeting, people contacted me. It was really full on, so it's become clear that A, we need a name for our group, and B, we need to sort out some roles or positions. So I'll be emailing out a date for our next meeting when we'll sort those things out. So if you could think about those two things, if you want to be involved at some level, it could be a little thing like helping with media releases, something like that. But we have such a variety of skills, that would be good to share that around. So I'll email out from that email list, make sure your address is on that. Shirley, do you want to come and share some of your stuff? What happened at the Arboretum, for example?
Thanks, Carol. Jess, you're wonderful. What a great example. I don't really want to go on too much because I just think I'm one of a whole lot of people here who's got a lot to offer, and I just think if we want to do it like Euroa, what are we going to do that makes us stand out? So I'm going to pass the microphone around because, yeah, we started a bike, a second-hand bike market thing, and we got some bikes to the people in Shepparton, and that was wonderful, and Tessa was really, really instrumental there. We got many of the gentlemen across to the Arboretum, and that was fantastic. But probably, like Jess, I just feel like we're tinkering at the edges, and I reckon we can do something really big. But we've got to join together, and we've got to do it like Euroa. What is it going to be? What is going to set Euroa apart from the rest of Australia? We've known about this issue for a long time, and look, hey, I'm not saying any of us feel that we have any of the answers, but I reckon combined we could come up with something really fantastic. And even if we strung something across Binney Street and every week we changed it.
I feel that sometimes we overlook the fact that children have immense power and wonderful ideas. and they know things that we don't even begin to know. So I just throw it in the mix, that we somehow get in touch with the schools and we get something running where these children write letters. Yes, and that's what prompted me. There's a delightful young man up there who is so good. He could write a book about it and send it to our politicians. But, you know, we must include young people.
I just think you're absolutely right. Get the kids to it, but get them singing what they want to say. But singing's great because it gets out there, but writing letters is great too.
Like, letters are good, but if you want to get an MP to move, annoy his electoral office staff, get them busy, get them under the pump, and they'll. We've actually had a couple of MPs visit the school as a result of what I've been doing with the kids to get them to come in and actually talk to the kids. And you know, these are 12 and 13-year-olds, and you just pick up a phone, annoy the electoral office staff, and you know, because all those letters, most of the replies are just standard, you know, form letters. I used to write them myself. You know, the minister doesn't even see them.
One of the things I think we could do would be in the local paper, in a very small piece in the local paper every week, have a fact check type of thing. You know, all these things that people in government say which are factually not true, or our recent governments having a policy of silence and making sure information doesn't come out. I think we should challenge that in some small way every week by saying, this statement was made and factually it's not true. It really came home to me when I think it was Peter Dutton said something along the lines of, per head of population we take more refugees than anywhere else in the world. Now that's factually untrue, but it feeds into a lot of fear. So I just think that's one way of issuing a challenge, saying you can't get away with this.
Or the fact that, like, the agreement that we signed with Cambodia the other year, $54 million, and they took 4 asylum seekers, you know, $54 million. And so people respond to the economics, which, you know, we would take that side of it, we hit that side as well, when they realise what it actually costs them, apart from anything else. Yeah.
If the local paper would put in something every week, we'd be paying for it. I think that would be fine, but it occurred to me that if we had a notice board in town somewhere, and we had a refugee group sponsors this board, that could be a way of informing people. Lots of facts, like so many people come into Australia on an aeroplane and they don't get treated the way people that arrive on a boat do, and yet they're not really any different. There's so many things people aren't aware of, so that's what I thought, just a notice board somewhere in town. We could tie that in with something in the paper, we could tie it in with the occasional banner. Yeah.
I just want to say that there's lots of things we can do, and some of you will have seen me sitting there with the phone. I've tweeted to the Pope that a Brigidine nun is here today in Euroa talking about He may not retweet it, but his 8 million followers now get it because I put a dot in front of the and. Okay, so you're out there, Bernadine. We just talked about the Euroa Gazette actually publishing stuff, and I've just tweeted to the Euroa Gazette, who actually follow some of what we do at Strathbogie Voices, saying, "Community talking today about you doing stories about contributing refugee community, ? Yes, and a photograph of some kids in a refugee camp." There's hundreds of things we can do, and they can include things like this. So anybody who wants to have a little bit of social media skill up, get onto it. I don't know what your hashtag is, I need to know it because then we can do some more.
Come on in. So, Susie, maybe you want to introduce the family.
Mother, can I have your permission to tell the people here the very special story of what happened last week? So it's with great pleasure that I introduce you to Mala and Eskulan outside, Okay? So Mala and Gunalan are from Malaysia, and they've been in Australia for 8 years now, which is a long time to be an asylum seeker. And they are the chefs beyond chefs. They are the best. I'm just introducing you. I hope that's okay. So this is a very, very special family. And until 2 weeks ago, there were 3 members of this family. And now, as you can see, there are 5. I can't tell you how that makes me as a worker, but me also as an extended part of the family, because when you work with people like this, you can't help but let them sneak in from behind and catch you in the heart. But to see the 2 children who have recently arrived from Malaysia here, and for Mina to meet for the first time her brother and sister, and I can't actually pronounce their names yet, I haven't quite got that round the right way, but it's absolutely wonderful to have them here and to welcome them to Australia, and in particular Shepparton, and give them the opportunity of education and a family life that they've missed out on for such a long time. And I know that Susie and her family have welcomed them into their hearts and into their homes. And these are the people that make my job so special, the human beings, the people that are, just as everyone said here today, are no different or better or whatever than any of us, but they have amazing stories and they have the most amazing resilience, and they're very, very special. And so it's lovely to have you in Euroa, and just such a pleasure to have 5 family members, not 3. In the 6 or 7 years I've been doing this job, I think this family reunification is probably A, one of the most exciting, but B, one of 4 or 5 in the whole time I've been doing this job. So it doesn't happen very often, which is why it's so incredibly special.
And every day I made a point, every time I saw one, I said hello. By the end of the time, they're saying hello before I could say hello. And everybody's smiling. And they're very happy, lovely people to work with. You know, and they are the same as us. No different, and they deserve better.
Hey Carol, is there any guys here that are actually writers, that actually do enjoy writing? Because I think that it would be a really good idea for Euroa to get together and actually do, say, a book or, you know, it's just something that this town could contribute to, say, Parliament.
Flemington in Melbourne has a really long history of having a lot of refugees settling in there. There were the Chinese before that, the Indians, the Afghanis. And one of the things that Flemington Community Centre did was a recipe book. And hearing how these guys love to cook, and food really is, I come from an Italian background, so I might be alone in this, but food is a real uniting thing. And I remember when I was working in an Indigenous community, and they were telling me, oh, you know, this is an Indigenous business and we can't get involved. And I said, well, here's my Italian culture and this is how we deal with it. We're all going to sit down and eat, and we're going to talk. And we talked and we worked out the problem that we were dealing with. And I think a recipe book is a really good way of people being able to say, you know, hi, we're the family from Malaysia, this is our story, here's our favourite dish. You know, and in that way you kind of almost sneaking in the back door the idea of telling refugee stories with a delicious little added extra.
Just listening to the conversation, I live in 2 communities. I'm sort of involved with 2 communities at the moment. I work in Euroa and I live near Vanilla. So I have strong connections with Euroa Uniting Church, and I, because of a bit of past history with the Rural Australians for Refugees, somehow I've ended up as convener at the moment of that group, which, as Des said, recently reformed last year. So we're actually struggling with some of the same sort of issues that you've been coming up with around the circle today. Community education, just getting, you know, dispelling some of the myths So we're seeking to do that by holding the occasional public meeting. We're hoping to have somewhere down the track a film night out at Swanpool, a film and food night with an appropriate film and some food provided by some fantastic cooks from Shepparton. There's a few of them around, apparently. I think there's strength in numbers, and whatever we can sort of find to do together would be really great. Des mentioned our picnic in the park recently, and the really striking thing that came out of that for me, yes, we did form some friendships, but they were nearly all married. There were a number of married men amongst the group that came over who hadn't seen their children for, 5-6 years. And we had come to that picnic, a woman with, I think, 3 young children, and that was amazing because some of the children were now at the age of the kids that were back in Afghanistan that these guys hadn't seen for however long. So they were able to visually sort of understand sort of where their children might be up to, in a developmental sense, which you can't always glean through photos. And they were really overcome, but in a positive sort of way, with seeing children. So it made us realise how important it is to be able to organise some events that families can come to with their children, just so that the people that have got family back in Afghanistan, they were really excited but also overwhelmed to actually see children. So that was one thing. So I'm sure that there are ways of getting together with just something as simple as a picnic.
We've had some great ideas mooted around the room this afternoon in terms of cooking, movies, the gentleman from Shepparton, in terms of with the men's shed, etc. What Cheryl was saying earlier in terms of Euroa, can we get some sort of policy procedure, a welcoming committee, something in place whereby we can print one, Euroa, and for another place that's perhaps less hospitable, or let's face it, ignorance breeds fear until we've actually met these people and put a face to them and actually see who they are, that they're human beings and they're just like us from a different culture, that we can actually help them in the best way that we can. There's diffusion of responsibility and bystander apathy. There are two issues that run that unfortunately do slow the process. The whole process must change with our policy and procedures at the governmental level, because also with climate change, what we're seeing out of Syria, 10 million displaced people, that's a drop in the iceberg when we're looking later at the equatorial displacement of people because of climate change. That's a separate issue, but it is related in terms of the groundbreaking work that we're doing at the moment to actually speed the process. But for Euroa, let's get a committee together, let's get some people together with some ideas, and let's start documenting this where we can put it together and then put it out there for social media whereby other people can look at it and think, well, yeah, we can do something similar. The banner over the street, etc., the other ideas. I think they're all fabulous. Thank you.
We've got something for Jessica. We have a presentation, and I'm going to ask Susie to come and give it to her. Come on, Susie. Because the thing is, Susie found this incredible thing, the op shop.
Carol and I thought, actually, maybe you could use this. So it's a vest, and there's a few little goodies in there that Carol's gathered, and I put a couple of things in there. And
there's the treasures.
Well, let me just have a look what's inside.
A sweatband!
Sweatband. Forgot my teeth.
Oh, sorry.
Paw ointment.
She might share it. These are very special. They have on their strap bogey.
My mum is going to love you guys. She's a nurse and she goes, make sure you pack your hydrolyte gel. And matches. Look at this candle. Oh, nuts. That's very handy. I'm incredibly humbled. And I just want to say thank you to all of you, and it seems like you're going to really kick up a storm, which is fantastic. Thanks for organising this, Carol, and everyone for coming and singing and travelling across from Shep and Benalla and everywhere. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.